I'm not sure where your education came from, but they lied to you. I hope some of y'all are acting. I really do.
Here, see?
I knew I was gonna be surrounded by ignorance, but damn, let's go. And my points are just as valid as yours, even though you got a pocket square and a Church of Christ pin on your chest. Y'all just want to be seen. I don't need to be seen.
That's why you're dressed like a poison dart frog.
Space that is tricking you into
just like she fell in
that you are
4
something
buckets of paint.
You need to think about me as your mama. Do not talk to me in that fashion.
You need to think of me like yo mama. How entitled can you be? Let me ask you this. Can you identify, and I'm not talking about talking heads. I'm not talking about people who are just in the space where they revolve around political commentary. Can you identify a major black celebrity who's conservative?
I heard Denzel Washington.
No, he's voted
Christian.
Democrat. He's a Christian, and he encourages
that's where I
accountability,
got
but
that.
doesn't fully connect the dots. And by the way, I, from everything that I've seen and heard, I like Denzel Washington. We probably would disagree on some issues politically. Another question for you. Do you think there's ever going to be a point where the scales tip? Because we saw it with Hispanic votes. We saw it with Gen Z. We've never seen it to a significant degree with black votes in America. And we have more black representatives or commentators than ever. You know, back when we were growing up, you pretty much had Thomas Sowell and kind of Larry Elder. There was like Alan Keyes, Herman Cain, Alfonso Rachel was an early and OG. I'd recommend go checking him out on YouTube. He was one of the first people there. But now you have a ton of people. The Blexit never really materialized. Do you think that it'll ever happen? Comment. And I also understand why it's so tipped towards one side as far as politically with black people. Because if you look or listen to anything in media, you will only see black celebrities assuming that you must be, unless you're a traitor, liberal if you're black.
We are voting for the right to choose what happens to our own bodies. We are
black
voting
bitch, I
to
choose
save
you!
ourselves from this precipice of danger.
I misspelled respect. And
Not
a lot
surprised.
of y'all,
I thought I had a cake
corrected me.
and a hashtag.
Now I want y'all to help me correct President Trump to teach him what it means.
Ladies and gentlemen, please
Nice
give
hair
a
color.
big, loud Texas welcome to the next President of the United States, Vice President Kamala Harris.
You think that this guy has done stuff for black people, all I gotta say is, crack is whack. I'm not trying to be funny.
Well, mission
This guy
accomplished.
has never done nothing for black folks.
Thank you for the.
It's a double negative. That means he's done something.
I know you guys are excited to see her. I didn't know you guys would be excited to see me too. But
Yeah, I gotta go disappear to what I call training camp for a few weeks, come back with a bald spot and 10 new pounds of muscle. Now, this brings us to I keep wanting to say outnumbered, the surrounded, which for those of you who are unfamiliar, it's basically changed my mind with a vote timer.
It is. It really is.
And this is one black radical. This is an actress, Amanda Seales, versus 20 black conservatives. Now, here's the thing. We're going to get into some of the claims versus the reality. But this is important to note. It's a technique that's used a lot. And I've encountered it and changed my mind quite a bit. And change my mind was just sit down, establish the premise, which they refer to as a prompt. And anyone can sit down and, change your mind. Okay? You've seen people do this where what they do is the in-betweens. If they know their argument doesn't really hold any water, they try and taint it with things like, oh, you're unreasonable. Or, oh, I can't believe these people must be paid actors. Yeah. Or, oh, if their argument doesn't hold water, they try and tip those scales on it's performance art. So as bad as you thought this was going to be with Amanda Seales, it's much worse.
I'm not sure where your education came from, but they lied to you. I hope some of y'all are acting. I really do.
Here, see?
I knew I was gonna be surrounded by ignorance, but damn, let's go. And my points are just as valid as yours, even though you got a pocket square and a Church of Christ pin on your chest.
it's not a Church of Christ. It's
Whatever.
A cross.
It's a cross. Same difference. You got an American flag and you think you know something because you a cop. And ultimately,
Not a cop, dispatcher, there's a
ultimately
difference.
it's a cab all day over here. So let me make that clear, too. That's being direct
But
to
how
you.
you
But you're
talk to them,
literally
you're not gonna
speaking
talk
this,
to me.
and you're not going to do
Okay.
that with me either.
Okay,
so you're
I'm
stating your
respecting
point. Y'all just want to be seen. I don't need to be seen. You're
That's why you're dressed like a
still
poisoned
stuck in an
dart frog?
indoctrinated space that is tricking you into
just like she
thinking
fell into
that you are
4
something
buckets of
that you
paint.
are not.
I have not had, you know,
First of all, you're a light-skinned woman.
And so are you.
Yes.
And you're doing
so
great for yourself.
Yes, and so colorism really does serve us.
Tell me.
God, this is scary. You need to think about me as your mama. Do not talk to me in that fashion. So let's check that now.
See, and this is what happens too. Sometimes it's referred to tone policing, but she's telling you need to do this. Now, I don't mean, it's very reasonable to require someone, if you are offering them respect, to be respectful. Like, hey, I didn't, and I've done this. Hey, I let you finish.
Yeah.
You got to let me finish. Or occasionally I'll go, you know what? I'm going to finish my thought as though you're an adult capable of giving me the same respect I've given you. But that's not what she's doing. She's saying, you need to think of me like yo mama. How entitled can you be? You don't get to tell someone what to think or how they should view you. Here's how someone's going to view you usually. It's usually going to be based on your actions. And in this case, your words, your stupid, stupid words. So Seals, just to give you an idea, was at the center of quite a few controversies herself. For example, defending Jussie Smollett, quote, even if it was a hoax.
What?
Yeah, this is someone who just, if black people can do no wrong. Even if it was a hoax and cost taxpayer dollars in the city, and even if it did stir racial division and hatred, another hoax too, like Michael Brown, hands up, don't shoot. Jussie Smollett's funny, Black Lives Matter, the terrorism, the billions of dollars in damage, that was also a hoax. So she was also kicked out of a Black Emmy party. She got into a feud with a black sorority, and she claimed that she was autistic without ever actually being diagnosed, which is funny, but hey, it's not just black-white. That's feminism to the letter. Just claim victim status, and you assume you win the argument, but that doesn't fly here. It's time for Claim Truth.
Can we go back claiming autism as a tool in an argument?
That's real retarded, sir.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's a thing that a lot of people do.
Hold
especially
on.
the left.
The only person who never will is Al Sharpton, who spells respect with 2 Ks.
Respect.
I misspelled respect. It's great. That was actually very revealing because to me, I just thought it's the way he speaks. No, in his mind, he's going R-E-S-P-E-K-K. That is what it means to me.
Yeah, there's a whole song.
I don't know. I don't think I would ever get to the point in an argument where I'm like, but I'm retarded.
Yeah. Well, you don't need to say
I don't
it.
think she said it in an argument. I think she was just claiming it.
She's claiming it.
Yeah, but why? Anyway.
Because it's a status symbol these days.
It's a victim.
It is. It's like... It's like one of these things. I'm a marginalized group. I'm not only am I black, but I'm also a woman, and not only that, but I'm on the lowest end possible of being retarded.
Yeah.
No. I don't know. I get it, but then you try to put yourself out there as somebody who can articulate the points of why reparations are a thing. Like, you've basically just so I don't need to listen to you
No.
anymore.
I understand you're being logical. That's your problem. Is if you take away victim status,
right?
If you completely remove it.
Okay.
In other words, if you don't go, wait, black, white, okay, well, hold on a second, white woman, black guy, trans, okay, disabled.
Right.
If you take all of that away, you actually have to rest on the validity of your arguments.
Your actual thoughts, your opinions.
So if you take all of the identity politics away, it just comes down to actions, performance, arguments, claims. We can't have that, and we certainly don't have that in the public school system. So the first claim that's made is systemic racism, and this has been addressed and changed my mind well over half a decade ago. Yeah. Actually, systemic racism, by the way, challenge is still out there of one example today in the 21st century. Systemic racism is real, says the self-diagnosed retard.
Ultimately, systemic racism exists in our institutions on a government level, in our institutions, whether it's prisons or schools, and it is undeniable because they are actively trying to reinstate it right now.
Okay, so the truth. It's hard to deal with claims that make no sense. I don't know what she means by trying to reinstate it. And I watched the whole thing, and it still doesn't make sense. Blacks are completely proportionally represented in Congress, right? In government, okay, about 14%. And as far as prison, now, again, her premise, but again, she's on the spectrum, according to her, is just black people are being put there because they're black. Black people in this country, despite making up 12 to 13% of the population, commit over half of all the violent crimes. And then if you look at, systemic discrimination, okay, well, we know that Asians and white people have been discriminated against in colleges, for example. They have to have higher GPAs, better SAT scores, and still can't get in. Whereas black students, who are woefully underqualified in some cases, they do. They do get in. DEI exists. And here's the thing, too, when she goes on to talk about reparations, they act as though those things have never taken place. DEI is affirmative action is reparations. Yeah. Model Cities program is reparations. EBT, SNAP, the baby mama that was created by, these are reparations. Yeah. Section 8 housing, more money into public school. These are reparations that have been paid to the tune of trillions of dollars and have made nothing better. Now, she may say those aren't the reparations we want, but those are the reparations that exist because it's what their party and what their community, the black community, have demanded. They petitioned, they got these reparations, and it didn't work. The answer, if you ask them, so when is it enough, is always more. Here's the next claim that she makes. And this is a tough one. I don't even know. It's like grabbing a bar of soap.
Real soap. Which
yes.
kind of soap? Yeah.
Yeah, done soap. Harriet Tubman was actually aided by white supremacy something.
I refuse to embrace a victim mentality because that's not what our grandparents and Harriet Tubman and those people fought for. They fought for equal opportunity.
Do not bring up Harriet Tubman's name in vain, baby. Please.
I said the Lord's name in vain. Lord's name.
Harriet Tubman was literally saving her family and others from slavery.
Yeah. You know who helped her? White people.
You know who helped her?
They were on the Underground Railroad.
You know who helped her?
Come on in.
No, you know who helped her?
God.
And people who benefit from white supremacy.
What?
That guy had answers.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Okay, so the truth to this one, okay, so here's my understanding of her, again, self-diagnosed autistic argument, is that white people helped Harriet Tubman, but they could only help her because they were beneficiaries of white supremacy. Therefore, white supremacy helped Harriet Tubman. Okay, so you don't want allies. Get it done with 12% of the population. I would help, but I benefit from white supremacy. Everyone in this room, by the way, you're precluded from helping because you've benefited from white supremacy. Tell that to the Quaker Church who helped Harriet Tubman.
Yeah.
Tell it to Massachusetts Governor John Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Tell it to the multiple whites who helped with the Underground Railroad specifically, just to be clear. No. You guys all have to stop because you've benefited from white supremacy. Oh, so the slaves should do it on their own. This is a way of removing any and all credit for the good deeds that white people have committed in the name of, I know this is inconvenient, modern Christendom.
Yeah. I don't understand what this point, like, if you didn't have white people, nobody would know about Harriet Tubman. You know why? She wouldn't have made it. We wouldn't let you write books about it, and you wouldn't be free.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe just saying thank you.
You know who else is who's benefited from white supremacy? The wealthiest celebrities on earth.
There you go.
Beyonce and Jay-Z, the top box office draws of the night, the Will Smiths of the world, the Denzel Washingtons of the world, the three most recognizable faces on earth in the 90s, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, kind of, that's a half one, Mike Tyson. Because white people, you know who else? Barack Obama, President of the United States. I know that one's pretty crazy.
That's rough.
Also, white people, the ones who've given you the platform to speak these kinds of asinine opinions in a show like Surrounded, not Outnumbered.
Surrounded, yeah.
The next claim that she makes, that blacks absolutely do need reparations, and she's going to make an airtight case.
Now, let me land the plane. We're talking about reparations, and what you're doing is actually
Careful, female
trying
pilot.
to get this conversation off the facts. And the fact is, reparations are just and necessary because on a basic level, black people built this country, and the country continues to thrive off of the labor that black people put into this country. And it would behoove you, young man, to really understand the way that your ancestors put blood, sweat, and tears into this nation that is still living off of those blood, sweat, and tears.
Okay, and I'll open this up to you guys, but here's the truth. All right, couple of things. I just addressed this, right? When you talk about EBT, SNAP, Section 8 housing, more money to public schools, when you talk about affirmative action, DEI, these are all forms of reparations, to be clear. I think at some point she says repatriations. I'm not entirely sure. She kind of delineates between the two.
Remunerations.
Is that what she says? Yeah, yes. Remunerations. Sorry. Remunerations. Okay. And she'll say, well, that's not what now we're asking for money. Okay, great. But those things exist because your community and the Democrat Party said that those were required. Okay? Those were required. That's to the tune of trillions of dollars. Why is that not enough? And by the way, why do reparations need to be paid to a 15-year-old black. What kind of reparations does Jussie Smollett deserve? And is it wiped out by what he cost the good tax-paying citizens of Chicago? I know you say you should defend him anyway because it's just a hoax. Oh, that's right. Now I'm getting it. The answer is always more money, please, more money, please. You asked for reparations. You may not like them now. It's what you asked for. You got them. You're saying it's not enough. Now you're on your own. The other thing is, by the way, I'm so tired of this. All references available, link in the descriptions. Blacks built this country. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. In comparison to the labor in this country, and certainly in comparison to the businesses created and the innovations in this country, and yes, manual labor, especially if you look at the Industrial Revolution, you look at these great booms that took place in this country, it is not because of black people. They took part in it, but not any greater part than anyone else. 75%, by the way, of Southerners didn't own any slaves whatsoever. States like California never had any slaves, to be clear. And while we're talking about this, the vast majority of slaves, anywhere from 90% to 96%, I think the high number, 96%, comes from Cornel West, they were sold into slavery by West African slave traders. Also, if you want to go buy yourself a slave today, you can still do it in plenty of African nations. You're going to be dealing with a black person, though, so don't be surprised. Here's the next part of this is slavery, too, actually can be argued through the metrics. It held the country back. The free North outperformed the South while they still had slaves in every way you could measure economically. The cotton industry exploded after slavery ended. Innovations like the cotton gin, that came from the areas of the country that didn't have slavery. So this is something, and it's something that it's used to guilt white people. Yeah. You wouldn't have this country if not for black people. Okay, well, black people, Africans who were sold by their African brothers, hey, they're still there in countries in Africa. What does that look like? What's the difference? You have Africans in both. They're slaves in both. Slavery's wrong, to be clear, just like Hitler bad. Africans in both, slavery and slave owners alike in both. Pick a country, any country, the African continent, United States. What's the difference? Who built the country?
One of the most infuriating things that she does is she makes these claims as though they're self-evident, right? She just says, yes, systemic racism exists. We were trying to think about, okay, well, how do you combat that without going down 50 rabbit holes? Okay, well, we'll go with what she said. Government, prisons, and schools. Okay, we can't prove that because we just disproved that. Reparations are absolutely just and needed. Okay, well, how do you prove that? Who gets it?
Right.
These people, we built this country. Therefore, she goes to the next point as though that foundational statement is true. I just wish she would say something with some kind of factual backing. Quote a study, even if I don't agree with it, just something, a stat. Give me a number to go after. In fact, when the guy brought up statistics about black on black crime, she goes, stats lie all the time, honey. If you're going to make your argument about stats, you already lost.
Yeah.
That's exactly what she did. It's like, oh, so I will never, ever, you're just a racist person.
Yeah.
That's really what we're dealing with. A racist person who hates this country. Fantastic. Here's an offer from me, not this show, from me personally. I will write you a check right now to pay to have you move to Africa. Because apparently you don't like it here.
Yeah. Let me ask you.
I don't want to be an oppressor.
No, none of us do. Let me ask you this. If you went to Harriet Tubman back in time and said, hey, look, you can tomorrow, slavery is done. You don't have to do this railroad stuff. Okay. It's done. It's over.
This railroad
Everyone
business.
will be free. Everyone will be free.
All this malarkey.
But that's it. It's a fresh start. The only way we know how to do this, Miss Tubman, you've inspired us, is to break these chains. Slavery is done, but we just got to get a fresh start. We can't keep looking to the past. It's over. Everyone's free. Do you think? Of course she would take that deal. And if she saw Seal, she would tell her to get a haircut and sew up the holes in her jeans. Here's a bonus claim that she makes that just sort of shows that she's an actual racist, if you didn't know that, by her defending Jussie Smollett because of his blackness. The claim here is that the Chinese aren't actual minorities or something like black people. I don't know.
For example, we have the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. We prevented Chinese people from getting citizenship and even entering the country. We discriminated against them and basically put them under apartheid, even here in the United States. Yet they have the highest median household income. How is that possible? How come they don't complain and feel entitled consistently to beg for reparations and beg for this when they are killing each other 90% of the time, which is the rate that black people kill each other, according to the FBI?
Oh, young Matt. One, comparing Chinese people who are immigrants that made a choice to come to the United States and comparing the continued effort of black people to ground themselves in a nation that continues to make impediments for them to show and live and exist in their true citizenship is a false equivalency.
I don't believe that happens at all. No one here is in.
Are you
being
acting
impinged on
right now?
anything.
Do you really
I'm
believe
telling
this?
the truth.
There's a way to try and discredit the person.
Yeah.
Before I get to the truth, let me just tell you this. I think that you're placating by saying black people kill black people in record numbers. Because that's you know what I'm actually really concerned with? I'm also really concerned with the fact that black people kill white people in this country in record numbers. It's not just your community's problem.
No.
And we have a right to an opinion because we are several times more likely to be assaulted, to be mugged, to be robbed, or to be killed by a black person as a white American than by a white American. Yep, the numbers are even higher because of the proximity effect of black people living around other black people. But let's be honest about this. We're concerned that we're more likely to be the victim of crime, and you can't blame it on there not being enough affirmative action. Anyone agree with that? I'm tired of going, the black on black crime, they're the biggest. No, yeah, sure, they're the biggest threat to the black community. I'm very concerned with them being a threat, that community, to my white children. Got it?
That's a great point because in this, the longer version of the video, other people brought that up, and it is a real concern. But her response was, well, how many black people do you see in your neighborhood on a day-to-day basis? A lot. How many white people do you see in your neighborhood on a day-to-day basis? Some. Well, then that's why. You're not in danger from white because you don't see white people.
Yeah. The only problem is if you look at the armed robbery, you look at the burglaries, you look at the violent crime taking place in the white neighborhoods, the next town over, you still see the same stats. In other words, these gangs of largely black people, they travel. And we have a problem with it.
Round, round, get around, they get around.
The Browns, they get around. But here's the truth. The Chinese in the United States, it's not a false equivalency. They weren't even considered citizens until 1943. 1870 is when the 15th Amendment gave black men the right to vote. To be clear, 1920, the 19th Amendment, some would say a mistake, granted black women the right to vote. Not because they're black, all women. And today, yes, the median income for Chinese Americans is $82,000 versus $54,000 for black Americans. So they've been discriminated against far more recently in a way that would negatively affect their income. They bounce back. And by the way, richer than the average German, just to be clear. Like the Chinese do really well.
You keep saying it wrong.
Chinese.
Thank you.
It's pronounced Chinese.
Finally.
Admonish me.
Yes. Admonish him alone.
I don't want to be ethnocentric.
Do it alone.
Chinese.
Go down with the ship, Jeremy.
And by the way, these metrics show you they Chinese, they know dumb. They are doing very well economically.
They know the maths.
So
I don't know why it's plural in other countries, but it is. Hey,
right.
so let's just concede the argument that she makes right now. I just want to concede every single point, right? I know we don't want to do that, but let's just concede. Every single thing you say about white people in this country, white supremacists and Harriet Tubman, systemic racism everywhere, you're right. You're owed every single dollar in my bank account. Do you think that's going to happen? And is that the best advice for all of your constituents to try to get that? Or let's just say that they're an oppressive system that they can never get out of, which is kind of what you're claiming in the first place. Wouldn't it be better to do what the other cultures have done and just try to make the very best of it that you possibly can and try to fix that instead of just complaining and shaking your fist at the sky and saying every bad thing that happens to you is because of the white man keeping you down? That's what works. You don't care about your community.
Yeah.
You care about having a grievance. You care about having an excuse for failure.
Right.
Instead of saying, hey, we need more fathers in the home in this community. Hey, we need less violence in this community. Hey, we need better education in this community. And guess what? Those people aren't going to give it to us. Fine. We're going to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
I tell you who really wants reparations. Chrysler.
Oh, I thought you said preparations, and I was thinking it's big H.
No, no.
Reparations.
Wouldn't I? But I'm not going to say it.
And by the way, bring up a bonus for those who are members of Rumble Premium for Mug Club. By the way, if you're not, click that button below. Yeah, we'll go on for another hour. It's $99 annually. You get everything ad-free. You get 100% more show, including the Friday show. And it's the only thing that keeps the lights on. Or try it for $9.99 a month, where they talked about with her black culture, and they talked about hip hop and the things that were glorified. And she said, well, who's the one feeding black people that? Who's the one? So if they're force feeding you junk food, and in other words, it's white people who are largely responsible for the mass consumption in the black community and rejection, by the way, of any and all other forms of media as it relates to gangster culture, as it relates to decadence and hedonism that you see. I would have loved to ask her, what's on your playlist?
Yeah.
What do you think's on Jussie Smollett's playlist? Why have you been duped by the evil white man? I'm guessing Jew, right? Why have you been duped?
It is our fault.
Yeah.
We invented the bucket and the mop.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's which is
people.
after which she modeled her hairdo. Oh, you're still here? And you're still watching this on YouTube? You've probably noticed something is missing by now. I'm not here. That's because the Live Daily Show is now streaming exclusively on Rumble weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Tune in there, where nothing is censored.